Awesome.
Awesome. And we'll see as people start to join.
Trickling.
Um, yeah, perfect. Awesome. Yeah, we've already got looks like about 10 people, about a dozen. So they're definitely starting to come in. Uh, and we'll give it just a couple of minutes as people start filing in. But yeah, thank you guys again for taking the time to join, and thank you to our panelists and all of the attendees that are coming in. We'll give it just a couple minutes. You guys can enjoy the gorgeous sizzle deck that you can see, courtesy of Bri, as we're waiting for people to join. But as people are filing in, I want to just remind everybody we do have Q&A that takes place, so please feel free to start putting questions in the chat as you would like to. And we'll be answering questions both throughout the webinar as well as after the fact. Um, we can go ahead and get started. It looks like we've got about 20 people in so far, so we can get started. That way we're not limited. And if people start joining uh, as we go, then that's all the better. But again, thank you everyone for taking the time to meet today. For those of you who don't know, my name's Keegan. I'm one of the customer success managers here at Clientbook on our post onboarding team. So I've been part of quite a few of our previous Clientbook Champion webinar series installments. And so I finally pulled the wool over our team lead's eyes and convinced him to let me run one myself. And I immediately turned around and found somebody else to delegate all of the work to, being our friends Bri and Bailey. So we wanted to make sure that in these webinar installments, we were providing additional information and insights from industry experts outside of just ourselves. While we work with, thousands of jewelers across the world, thousands of really high or luxury retailers in general. We want to make sure that we are offering as much value as possible, and that means bringing in additional industry experts. So, in this installment, we want to make sure that we're giving tips and tricks for really getting the most out of Q4 and the holiday season that is quickly and rapidly approaching. So we have our friends Bri and Bailey from Buzz Advertising Agency that will be really doing all of the heavy lifting in today's webinar, and I can't thank them enough for taking the time to meet with us. They're both amazing experts in their own right. I've had quite a few conversations with them leading up to this, and they are incredibly capable, and they have a lot of really valuable insights to be sharing with everyone. So I am super excited to have them. Like I said, be putting questions in the chat, either questions about your own individual instances or general questions. We're happy to help answer however we can. But yeah, Bri, Bailey, if you guys want to give an intro on yourselves, on Buzz, and really what you're doing to help jewelers in the industry today, that would be awesome.
Sure. Thank you, Keegan. That was a lot of accolades. I hope we deserve them. That was very sweet. Good morning, everyone. My name is Brianna Black.
And I'm Bailey.
And we work for Buzz Advertising Agency. As an agency, we've been in the jewelry business for about 20 years, and we can appreciate just how special each and every one of your stores truly are. My role is an account manager, and that basically means I get to see the nitty gritty of all your businesses, everything from your print projects and budgets all the way down to your in-store merchandise and your in-store experiences.
Yeah, and I work as the social media manager here at Buzz. I have over 4+ years of experience in social media and creating impactful social media strategies for small businesses. And I particularly specialize in helping our small businesses amplify their online presence and connect with their audiences across social media platforms. And today, We want to dive into Q4 marketing efforts and what you can do in your store to help make this holiday season even better than the last holiday season.
Awesome. Yeah, thank
Great.
you both so much. Like I said, we're excited to have you guys, and they have a ton of valuable insights. Obviously, in today's economy, it can be scary being a small business, and we want to make sure that you guys are equipped with the tools necessary to really get the most out of big holiday seasons like this, and also are familiarized with the different tools and tactics that the large multinational corporations are using, and you can adapt a lot of their strategies to help your own business. So, yeah.
Awesome.
All right, let's get started. So the first portion of our presentation is going to be centered around holiday jewelry gift giving. We, like I mentioned, work with a lot of different jewelers, and we're fortunate enough to work with jewelers all over the nation. So we see trends here and there, and each market is a little bit different, but these are a couple trends that we see pretty consistently across all of our clients. And the first thing we want to talk to you guys today about is personalization. So I'm sure those of you guys who serve the bridal market are been seeing custom for quite some time now. No one really wants to feel like their jewelry is one of a million. Jewelry is a really intimate and sentimental piece, and this holiday season, we're seeing a real push for custom jewelry. And that doesn't necessarily mean the full custom process with your family diamonds and sculpted into like a butterfly pendant, but rather little simple touches of individuality, like adding a birthstone to the carriage of an engagement ring. Or in my case, the gift I gave my mom this summer for during my wedding was a custom locket in her handwriting. And she cried like a baby because she's my mom, but it's just a very intentional and thoughtful thing that you can add to any piece of jewelry that just levels up anything. And I know a lot of you guys are probably already doing just that. If you have engraving custom capabilities, or if you have custom capabilities, the thing that we really want to make sure that we're doing this holiday season is highlighting that. Whether that's a comprehensive page on your website explaining your custom process and how to get started, or just showcasing that on social media. Whatever you can do in your store, I would recommend highlighting that in any way that you can.
So, like Bri mentioned, we're seeing more individualism when it comes to personal style, which leads me into our next big trend that we've been seeing. A lot of shoppers are looking for vintage, estate, or sustainable options like lab grown diamonds this season. The rise of eco conscious buyers is leading to an increased interest in things like recycled metals, lab grown diamonds, and heirloom quality pieces. Plus, the uniqueness of vintage and estate jewelry is truly what sets it apart, because there are so many out there that are looking for ways to be more individualistic themselves. So, one way that you can reach these customers is by creating or showcasing your cases that focus on vintage designs, estate designs, or eco friendly jewelry like lab grown diamonds. With the advancements in gemstone sourcing throughout the jewelry industry, and you all actually going and hand selecting these gems, knowing the origin of those is a super powerful thing to share with your customers. It not only is going to assure them that the gem was ethically sourced and that they can feel good about wearing it, but it's also giving them a deeper connection to that gemstone by knowing exactly where it came from. And it can be hard to market your vintage and estate jewelry since your cases are probably ever changing and it's one of a kind. So you don't know how long it's going to be in your cases. So, a great way to showcase your estate and vintage jewelry is by utilizing social media stories. With their 24-hour lifespan, stories provide a more timely and engaging way to highlight these pieces while keeping your content fresh and relevant.
And one of my favorite trends that we're also seeing is color. So color is making a full comeback. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the Hackman family who runs Intercolor USA, but their daughter Julia has grown their voice exponentially just in this last year. And it all started from her just showing off the versatility of the gemstones that they provide. We've seen colored gems, especially sapphires, emeralds, and rubies, really shine this season, particularly in a unique setting. And I know plenty of you guys are already on the color train doing your special gem events, but I challenge you to dig a little bit deeper. With our clients, we found that a lot of their gemstone clients are actually slowing in purchasing, which signifies to us that it's time to look to that next generation of buyers. And we've found success in meeting those potential buyers where they're at. So, for example, one of our clients who's a little bit more daring and willing to try our crazy ideas is actually hosting a color gem event as we speak. And she is doing it in conjunction with a local color analysis consultant. So, some of you might know what color analysis is. It's basically a quiz that you can take that tells you, based off your physical features, what color looks best on you. They also tell you whether it's yellow gold or white gold looks best on you. They'll go through the whole gambit. So I'm personally a warm autumn, and I know Bailey's a warm summer. So our friends have fully bought into this, and we found it to be a fun way to kind of level up her gemstone event. So the way that her event works is anyone that comes in during that date range and makes a purchase of X dollars, whatever that price feels good for you, also gets their colors read right then and there while they're in the store. And they get an entire experience. So not only do they leave with a great experience and a beautiful new piece of jewelry, but they also leave with the confidence of knowing how to present their best selves. So the goal is always to have your customers feeling very confident and very excited about what they just purchased. And we think that event does just that. Now we know events are a big undertaking, especially when you have to partner with other local vendors. So we've come up with a couple different ideas on how to highlight color that aren't so time intensive. And the first thing is, it's pretty simple, but move your color stone cases up to the front this holiday season. Let them know that you have them. I know that holidays will continue to be and have historically been like a diamond giving holiday, but they don't know what they're missing if they don't see it. So I would encourage everyone to move like maybe one case up to the front that highlights color. And if that's not attainable for you, that's okay too. We tell our clients sometimes the best thing that you can do is just grab your phone and start talking. And in this instance, grab your phone and start talking about your favorite gemstones, where they come from, what makes them so special to you. We'll touch on this a little bit later, but that type of educational content does so well for so many of our clients.
And one of the last trends that we're going to talk about today is stackable and layered jewelry. I'm sure you all have noticed this trend as well, but stacks have been in, they're currently in, and we don't think they're going anywhere this holiday season. Specifically, gold and colored gemstone stacks. We're actually seeing this all over social media, and I love seeing all the fun combos that are out there. Gen Z, especially the younger audience, loves to pair unique pieces together that you wouldn't normally see paired. For example, like a big chunky gold charm necklace paired with a pearl strand. And the best thing about stackable and layered jewelry is that it gives buyers the option to build onto it in the future, which means a possible sale for you. And one way that you can show off your stacks is by, again, utilizing reels and story on social media. A reel can really help show the versatility of one specific necklace with many different options, or just your wide selection of pairable jewelry and the different combos that you can make with them. And stories are a super fun way to get interactive with your clients. You can easily throw up a voting story and ask them, which one of these do you like the best? And not only are they going to feel closer to your brand because they can interact with you like that, but it's also going to bump up your social analytics, which is always good as well.
Yeah, so just to recap, those are the trends that we're seeing coming through, tried and true. And obviously, every market's a little bit different, but we're seeing stackable jewelry, we're seeing colored, we're seeing sustainable and vintage jewelry, and we're definitely seeing personalization be a key gift idea this holiday season. So the next section of our presentation is going to go over what customers want to see from your marketing. So obviously we respect that every market's a little bit different and everyone's clientele is a little bit different, but these are approaches that we've seen be tried and true through the years with all of our different customers. And the first section is my favorite section, and that's authentic story-driven content. Like I mentioned at the beginning of our presentation, I get the pleasure of knowing your family businesses in a really in-depth way. Unfortunately, many of your customers don't get to know your store in that capacity. However, we're seeing a real shift in the purchaser's mindset. They want to know you and your staff and your story. I think it's largely in part because of the influencer marketing. So many of us follow people or influencers nowadays, and they're taking you through the most in-depth parts of their lives, whether it's their weekly grocery shop or what products they're using in the shower. It sounds ridiculous, but that's truly the level of intimacy that people are expecting of you nowadays. And they should see that from your store as well. And I don't mean every detail, but Bailey is our wizard when it comes to telling a brand story. And she's going to show you a few different strategies to help achieve that really authentic story-driven content.
Yeah, so a few brands come to mind to me when we're talking about authentic content. And one brand that I love is called Bays. Maybe you guys already own one of their bags, but they sell handbags, they sell luggage. And Bays is owned by an actress named Shay Mitchell, and she's one of the huge reasons behind their success on social media. She's personified their brand to a point where it literally feels like you're interacting with a friend. And Bays does a really great job of hitting their content pillars every single month, which is just the variety of content that you want to see. So, if you're unfamiliar with content pillars, they're essentially your segments of content that you want to hit every month. And a few that are pretty open ended and work with most businesses are the 4 H's. And that's humor, heard, helpful, and happenings. And humor is the type of content that's going to make your audience laugh. It's funny things that might be happening around the store or in the industry. Heard is going to be addressing current trends that are ongoing. They're going to be engaging in discussions in the industry, and they're going to be aligning with your audience's interests that you're noticing. Helpful provides valuable information to them. This is going to be a lot of educational content. It's going to solve problems for them, and it's also going to help just generally educate your audience when they walk into your store. And happenings reflects on what's happening in the world right now, relevant news, events, or even pop culture moments. This is where like hopping on trends would be in the happenings umbrella. And Bays hits every single one of these, from dancing trends all the way to Shay Mitchell, the owner, literally sitting down and telling her story about how she founded her brand. Another brand that comes to mind for me in the industry is Cullen Jewelry. They're a brand out of Australia, and I absolutely love what they're doing on social media. And they have one main girl working on their content. And because it's her face that you're seeing on a lot of their videos, she's kind of become the recognized and trusted face for their customers. Their customers know that when she pops up on screen, that they can trust what they're hearing. And Cullen Jewelry also touches on so many different types of content. But the reason I love it so much is because they're breaking down every bit of detail, from how to stack your rings to what is the most durable engagement ring style. They're not missing a beat, because you just don't know what you don't know. And some of our clients worry about being too controversial on social media, but in today's content landscape, taking a stand, whether it be something like band size or another topic, is actually going to help set you apart from other jewelers. And there's so many options out there when it comes to all things jewelry, and users are really just wanting your authentic, real feedback and opinion. It shows customers that you're going to offer valuable insights that they're not going to find from another business. Social media is a completely different experience from in-store shopping, and I think customers understand that. But by sharing bite-sized, informative content, you're going to empower them to walk into your store confident and ready to make those informed decisions. So I wanted to showcase a few specific examples of fun, informative content that you guys can make this Q4. So the first one that I'm loving at the moment is called, at least I call it, Ask the Team videos. And Ask the Team videos are essentially what you can do with them is you're going to pick a specific topic. And it could be something like, for the holidays, what is on your wish list at blank jewelers this holiday season? And you're going to go to every team member, or at least the ones that want to be on video. I know that's hard. And you're going to have them say something like, "Hi, I'm Bailey, and I just put on this gorgeous diamond Riviera necklace, and this is what's on my wish list this year." And this type of content is great because not only are you showing off your wonderful staff and their beautiful faces, but you're also subtly showing off your selection of jewelry. And the nice thing about this format for social is that you can reformat it in ways like with topics such as best gifts for her this holiday season, best gifts for him, current staff favorites. And one of my favorites is this is for the owner. Like, if, say, the owner's name is Brad. If Brad told us that we could take home any piece of jewelry, this is the one that we would pick. And this is a great time to show your biggest and brightest pieces. Another great content idea is a store tour. Like I mentioned above, customers want to feel comfortable and ready to walk into your store. So by giving them a store tour, they're going to know exactly where to go to get what they want when they stop by. And this is also a fun way to get everybody in the holiday spirit if you've recently redecorated. Moving on to another story, another social idea is in our story video. The holidays are all about that warm, fuzzy feeling, and everyone always loves a heartfelt story. So, this is a perfect time to tell your story. How did you get here? What hurdles did you come across and obstacles did you face? And how did you overcome them? I think people really relate to content like this. One brand that I think of when I think about storytelling on social media is called the Nitro Bar. And they are a little coffee shop, a woman owned coffee shop in Rhode Island. And she retells her story all the time, and it performs so well for her every single time on social media. Your story is super integral to your business, and your customers are going to love the humanization behind your brand and your business. So, one last holiday content idea that I'm going to leave you with is price pointed content. And this could be anything from gifts under 5,000, gifts under 10,000, gifts under 500. It really is going to depend on what's right for your market, but this is going to appeal to a large group of people, and it's a great way to show off your selection and maybe make the holiday shopping experience a little less daunting for somebody who might have a preconceived idea of how expensive or how non-expensive jewelry can be. But no matter what content you're making this holiday season, the main point is just to make sure that it feels right for you and your store.
Yeah, there are so many fun ways to get people excited and to stop into your store. And if social media isn't your thing, you also have your visual and interactive campaigns. So another great way to get noticed is your front window. This is often a step in marketing that gets tossed to the wayside when you start to get busy, but it's truly so impactful. So today's consumers want interactive experiences, whether that's online, in store, a beautiful window display, or a fun little personalized pop-up on your website when they first get there. The possibilities are really endless. And when you start to think about how can I make the experience different, I encourage you to ask your staff as well. They're the ones on the storefront all day, every day, talking to customers, seeing what they're excited about. So one of our clients recently relocated, and their bench jewelers, who are notoriously very introverted individuals, actually suggested that they move their bench right to the front window when they move stores so that people can walk by and get inspired and see the magic really happen. And ever since then, their foot traffic has been so far up. I mean, partly because they have a new store, but also because what they're putting in their front window is truly interesting.
Yeah, and another way to offer another like a different type of visual campaign is really super simple. Have your staff wear the jewelry. Jewelry looks best on someone, and customers can really get a good look at how that piece is going to wear on them. Not only that, but sometimes when you see somebody else rocking a piece of jewelry or clothes, it'll give them the confidence that they need that they can rock it too. I know Bri and I both do this, and I'm sure your friends do too. When one of us is wearing something that we absolutely love, and this could be an everyday thing that you do during Q4, or just an every Friday thing. It doesn't have to be anything crazy leading into the holidays, but just make sure you do a little extra jewelry check at the end of the night. Another visual and interactive opportunity during the holiday season is decor. As I'm sure most of you know, decor is everything during the holidays. It's the smell as soon as you walk in the door. It's the lights twinkling off all the jewelry. It's the trees decorated to the nines, and no detail goes unnoticed when it comes to decorating for the holidays. And a fun way to get interactive with it is to set up a little photo wall. Social media has really fueled picture taking opportunities. And sometimes when somebody sees a great photo wall at a restaurant or a business, they're going to make sure to stop in and they'll check it out as well. And once they're in the store, your amazing staff will be able to take it from there. And some of you may also offer coffee, tea, or champagne while your customers shop, but maybe switch that up into the coming months to a hot cocoa bar. This is going to add into the holiday ambiance and the overall holiday shopping feel. And a great way to maintain consistency in your visual merchandising is through eye-catching window displays. And this could range from a stunning window cling to an actual curated window box showcasing different jewelry collections like gifts for him or gifts for her, or even pieces that are organized by price points. Customers will often decide whether they want to stop into your store based on how it looks from the outside. And that's why your window displays are so important. A great window can entice them to pop in. And once they're inside, they'll be super glad that they came in. But on the off chance that you can't get customers to the door with your new amazing window displays, this next marketing approach that Bri's going to talk about might do the trick.
Yeah, so personalized marketing is my personal favorite marketing approach. I know it's very time consuming, but with how much digital noise everyone encounters every day, this really cuts through. Customers really appreciate messages tailored to their interests, their previous purchases, and even their wish list. I know this is a very tall task and it's very time consuming. And that's why for a lot of our clients, we pick a specific group of people to start with. So recently, our stores have been all about bridal. So we created this survey and casted it out to their prospective markets. And basically, we're asking young professionals of engagement age, what do they want out of an engagement ring? What is their favorite setting, their metal color? And it makes it feel like their voices are heard, which they are. But the important part of the survey is what we do with that information afterwards. So once we've completed the survey, we then segment their lists by year that they're looking to get engaged. So anyone looking to get engaged in 2024 will start to get marketing messages right away, and so on and so forth. And then once we're in that prospective year, we send marketing specifically based off their setting and metal color to each one of those participants. This ensures that those people are getting sort of marketing that is truly of interest to them, because if they're taking the time out of their day to open our email or text or whatever it may be, we want to make sure that it's worth it for them. And I know that Clientbook can be a huge tool when trying to segment lists like that. Beyond bridal buyers, you can also segment your text list by previous purchases or recommend items based on their history. We mentioned earlier that jewelry stacks are really hot right now. So if you have someone in your purchase history that's bought 2 yellow gold necklaces in the last year, shoot their significant other a text and let them know that this diamond tennis necklace is what they're missing from their stack, and they'll thank you later. I know this to be true because our founder, CEO, Tammy Benda, she always tells the story about her husband, Jeff, who hates the stores, hates to go in. If he can buy it online, he will. But a couple months before their anniversary, she had gone into our local jeweler and just looked around, and she found this diamond bar necklace, and she thought, oh, that might be good for like a 50th anniversary or like a big milestone. So she put it down on her wish list. And then 3 months later, while Jeff was in his tree stand, he gets a call from that local business, and they were saying, hey, I know exactly what Tammy wants for her anniversary. Do you want to like come in and check it out? He did not. He was in his tree stand, like I said, so he whipped out his card and just read off the number, and the sale was closed. I know that that's not how all sales go, but what I do know, and the lesson from that is that people really appreciate what, like, knowing what they're buying is a for sure smile maker for their significant other. So I thought that was a pretty powerful story. I love that story, and I wish my husband would do the same thing. That brings us to our last point, though, and this is a real non-negotiable element for what we do here at Buzz. And the last thing that people want to see from your marketing this season is a seamless omni-channel experience. Customers want a smooth shopping experience, whether they're browsing online or in store. A seamless omnichannel message is what they expect, and your inventory, promotions, and customer service should all be consistent across all channels. For us, that's making sure that the inventory that we highlight on social media this holiday season is also on your website, and it's also in store. I know that's pretty daunting, but there's nothing worse than when a customer comes in and has pre-shopped, taken the time out of their day to come to your store, and then been disappointed by the selection. If you aren't edge integrated or don't have a designated inventory specialist, we found a couple ways around that, because you're not alone. You guys are busy, and a lot of the times you don't have time to update your website. But what we want to make sure is that you're putting your best foot forward. So for some of our clients, we create landing pages for specific gift seekers. So even if your entire website isn't up to date, you should still be good to go. For example, and this, I say this to everybody, if you're sending out a holiday catalog this year, please make sure that there's a QR code on the back of that that scans you into your website. When they get to that QR code, they should see the digital version of that catalog, and they should also see all of the items from that catalog listed out beneath the flipbook. That means that if they saw something that they really like, they can just click and add that to their wish list right away. That's a super seamless experience, and I'm sure your customers would appreciate that. Likewise, if you're not sending a catalog, or even if you are, you should have specific pages on your website that are price pointed. Gifts under 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, whatever that number may be for your market. Make sure that you have those grouped together. It takes a little bit more time, but it makes an easier experience for your customers. Similarly, not only do you want your inventory to be accurate, but you want your message to be accurate as well. And that is a huge part of what we do here at Buzz. If you're highlighting diamond studs during the month of December, it better be on your radio, your social media, the homepage of your website, and your retargeting ads. If someone thinks of diamond studs during December, they should think of you. And if you don't already have a marketing service doing this for you, something that you could do is just designate one person from your team to go through once a week and make sure that the content on your platforms are consistent and engaging. And it'll make a world of difference for you. Once you've figured out your messaging and everything's consistent and beautiful and you're putting your best foot forward, my favorite thing to do is send out a text message, and you can do that through Clientbook as well. But that's the perfect way to tie in all of your messages. So once you're live, send out a text about those diamond studs, and better yet, link it to your Facebook. When they get to your Facebook, they should also be able to see a beautiful video of your staff talking about how diamond studs are the gift of the season. Or whether you're highlighting special price points. All of that will make the experience so much better for your customers, knowing exactly what they're getting and where they can get it.
So we've left you with a lot of things to think about, but we want to leave you with just a few more final tips when it comes to holiday jewelry sales. And the first one is offering flexible payment options.
Yeah, I get the pleasure of talking about payment options. It's a little bit taboo and it's not super sexy, but it's something that we've seen over and over and over again be a really powerful tool to close a sale. And so I just wanted to put a reminder out there for all of you guys. I'm sure you know, but it's tough out here. Me and my coworkers are all young professionals, and the cost of living is definitely rising, and we feel that, but that doesn't mean we want the holidays to be any less special. We know it's a little bit taboo, but if your store does offer special financing, make sure that that's visible on your website and that your staff is well equipped to explain that in an eloquent way. I know that, well, we've had personal experience with like Synchrony and Wells Fargo, and there's lots of terms and conditions that you have to know and be able to explain well. So it might be a good topic to talk about at your weekly staff meeting right before the holidays ramp up. Some of our customers have even taken it a step farther and celebrated their store credit card holders. So this is an example of a mailer we've done to a very select group of people. I think the stat that I saw maybe last month is those who shop on credit cards spend almost double what they would if they were paying with cash or check or whatever that might be. And so I think this is a really powerful tool to hone in on those customers that already know you already know they love jewelry, you already know they have a credit card, so why not reward them? This mailer in specific yielded a really great return. We saw, so 500 off is a pretty big number, but we saw most minimum purchases were double what that 1,000 minimum was. So just something to think about and something to make sure that your staff is equipped to handle that conversation.
Yeah, and the next tip that we're going to leave you with is leveraging early holiday shoppers. It's never, I mean, when it comes to the October, November, December, don't wait until last minute to start promoting your promotions, events, and gifts, because there's no worse feeling than starting your holiday shopping late. And I know that I've done this. I'm sure this is a common shared experience for hopefully at least a few of us, and definitely your customers as well. And that's why it's never too early to start. I always start saving videos and posts on social media for specific friends and family members. And I know Bri does this as well. And I know other friends that do it. So I want to make sure that we get the absolute perfect gift for that person. I actually know that Bri bought my Christmas gift in late August. And no, sadly, I don't know what it is yet. But by sharing those videos early on, you can add them into a little story feature on your Instagram page. And that way, when someone visits your profile, all they have to do is click right there, and there's going to be a ton of gifting options for them right at their fingertips. But like I was talking about earlier, there are so many fun ways to share your unique selection out there, and it's super valuable to your audience, especially those who want to avoid the holiday rush and shop early this season. My advice is to start encouraging your customers to come fill out their wish lists if you offer them, and subtly start sharing those gift ideas in early November, if not the end of October. Just throw a couple into your schedule.
Especially for our custom design stores. I know a lot of our stores are custom is their niche and we're pushing that custom deadline start of October. We're incentivizing, we're sending out emails, so it's never too early,
Sure.
really. So the last thing we wanted to leave you guys with is in-store events. And this is something I haven't touched on yet because I know you guys are pros at hosting events. It's part of what you do. But we wanted to leave you with a couple different ideas on how to make your events interactive, fun, and fresh. So the thing that we're seeing be the most impactful for most of our clients is events that collaborate with other local vendors. And we found the easiest vendors to work with are the ones that don't have a storefront already. So whether it's the pop-up flower shop or some home crafts that they just work out of their home, those are usually really unique, fun ways to level up your event and broadcast your event's message on multiple platforms. Like they have an entire base of following that might not be the same as yours. So that's a really fun way to get your events to feel fresh and fun and new. We have a couple ideas. The first one I kind of mentioned earlier, but a colored gemstone event partnered with a color analysis consultant is a really fun way to give someone a full experience. Similarly, a cocktail party, a holiday cocktail party with a local mixologist, and you hand out the little mix bags to everybody as they leave. My favorite thing to do, and this is a little bit jaded, but I think it holds value, is having Santa in your store. I've seen so many customers lately say that a lot of their big purchases are now coming from self-purchasing women. And what we know about self-purchasing women is that they're usually a part of a family as well. So if you can include their kids in the experience, that just leaves them feeling that much more fond about your store. So if you're not having Santa in your store already, maybe think about it. And then the last thing we'll leave you with is maybe holding something more intimate. We've seen intimate events yield great returns as well. So an intimate wine tasting with your top customers and have it catered or something to make them feel special. I actually heard someone not too long ago rent out an entire pumpkin patch for their top customers, invited their whole family and did the event that way. Obviously, it's not even at the jewelry store. It's more of a PR move at that point, but still impactful nonetheless.
That's so true. And I know that I love going to events that are very involved. But I think that covers it. We've talked about trends. People want custom, they want color, they want unique vintage estate jewelry, and they want jewelry stacks. And as for what they want out of their marketing, we've talked about how important authentic, story driven content is, visual and interactive displays, personalized marketing that's tailored specifically to them that they want to see, and a seamless omnichannel experience where everything is very consistent throughout platforms. It was super wonderful chatting with you all. We hope you learned something new from us today that you can hopefully replicate within your own store in your own unique way. And with that, I'm going to hand off the mic to Keegan and the Clientbook team for our little Q&A session.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you both so much. That was amazing, and I'm glad that I was able to get a lot of insights from it. So thank you both. We do have a couple questions. So first question is, are there any tips for making jewelry gift guides that you guys could share?
Yeah, okay. Bailey, you want to take this one or you want me to?
I think we could tag team this one. I think with holiday gift guides, it's really important to section them off and segment them. So, gifts for her, gifts for him, gifts for certain age groups, gifts for the person who loves vintage, gift like segmenting them into those groups like that. So everybody feels like there's something that they can find for them. I think that's really important, as well as price pointed gift guides, making them visually appealing, making sure that you're using your best images of them, and then also sharing that on social media. I feel like social media is such an impactful tool, and you can make story highlights really easily. It's super easy to put them up, and then you can highlight them so that anytime that somebody comes to their page, they can find something specifically tailored to them in your story.
Yeah, and maybe that's something you do during the holiday season where you change your highlight reel so that it just says gifts for her, gifts for him, gifts under 500, 1,000, and make it very prevalent. That would be my greatest tip on creating gift guides. I think doing it digitally is a really smart. having that on your website and then having the gifts from the gift guide loaded up below that gift guide is a really powerful tool. And then creating a social media post based off what you have listed as well, so that everything's clickable, everything's accessible at your fingertips. Because what we found is if something takes a while to find, people get frustrated and then they click off your website, and that's not what we want. So if you're creating a holiday gift guide this season, I would say definitely digitize it. Mail does still work, but we want to make sure that we're reaching as many people as we possibly can. So doing that digitally is a really important step.
Yeah, I was.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. There's another question, and definitely make sure if you have questions, you're putting them in the Q&A. What are the best posting times for social media?
Oh, that's I get that question all the time, and it's honestly really hard to answer it. Um, I would say that the best way to figure it out for your market, because every market is different, and because we're all in different time zones, there's really no perfect time. But I can say that if you're creating super high quality content, it's going to reach the people that it was meant to reach, and they're going to enjoy watching it or looking at it. I would say to look at your analytics on Meta on Facebook in your back end and seeing what content is performing well. And I feel like it'd be more valuable for you to replicate the content that's performing the best and post it maybe when your store opens. Like I would say we post for a lot of our stores, and this is something that we've seen pretty consistent across the United States around 10 a.m. We do have clients out on the West Coast who are in a different time zone. So for them, we post around noon. But again, it's really dependent on your time zone. It's dependent on your market and when they're on social media. But I would say like the more impactful way to spend your time with social media is making valuable social media and story driven social media like we were talking about today.
Yeah, I would add on to that a little bit as well. Like Bailey said, making sure it's quality is the first step, absolutely. And beyond that, a lot of people get stuck on the number of times they want to post a week as well. Unless you're on TikTok, the rest of the platforms, to have quality content over quantity content is always going to do better for you. If you are already making quality content and you're taking those steps and you want to know your optimized times, we use a platform called Later. It's pretty like affordable and it lets
User
you,
friendly.
yeah, it's so user
Super
friendly.
user friendly.
Yep, and their chat people are a little bit slow, but the rest of it is pretty like intuitive. So if you are already crossing the quality and quantity off your list, and that's your next step, I recommend using like a scheduling software. We use Later, we love it, and we'd recommend it to anyone.
And if you don't want to because you do have to purchase a plan through Later. If you don't want to use Later, you can still schedule a Meta. The reason we don't is just because it takes a little bit more time. And Later actually lays it out in a calendar view rather than a week view. So it's easier for us when we're scheduling for multiple clients. But for one store, Meta does a great job. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I would just say to keep it pretty consistent, no matter what, we're posting 3 times a week for each client. And that depends on their capabilities in store. Do they have somebody dedicated to social media in their store, or are they making it themselves? But either way, like Bri said, if you're scheduling it out and batching it and making it all like making several posts and scheduling those for a month, that's going to make your life so much easier, because then you won't have to constantly be spending time making sure that you remember to post, making sure that you remember to share to your story. Like it makes it a little bit easier.
And for the stores that don't know the best way to put together like a post in general, there is fantastic software, both paid and free. I prior to working here at Clientbook, I worked at Pinterest and I used Canva, which is a fantastic tool. It's both an app and a website. You can just go use it on a browser. They have free and paid versions. And you would be surprised how many organizations put together amazing, amazing posts and creatives from just a free Canva account. So
Yes.
they've got templates and it's a really, really versatile tool. Um, so awesome. There's two questions. One's a little bit more specific, so I think we'll save that for the end. But this one, have you guys seen any trends among the holiday campaign stories this year?
Um, I'm wondering what that, I'm wondering if they mean like the look that people are going for or a specific type of interactive campaign. If so,
Yeah.
I have been already seeing them. I've been seeing a lot of organic stuff and across any kind of campaign in general. And this is something that's really also valuable for most stores. Organic content, a lot of the times, is going to perform a lot better for you than any kind of branded content on social. So I would say something more organic. I think maybe I'm misunderstanding the question, but
Could we get a little bit more clarification on
yeah,
that?
I feel like if I had a little bit more detail, I'd be able to
Yeah.
answer that a little bit better. But as
Yeah. If you want to put in chat the person that asked that question, if you want to expand on that, we'll be sure to kind of refocus. Going off of that, I would maybe ask, where would you guys recommend going to look for like post inspiration? You shared some great creators that are doing a good job, but like what platforms in general, how could store owners just search on
Mhm.
Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or YouTube for, seeing what other stores are doing?
When it comes to inspiration, my favorite platform and like what I find is probably the most user friendly is going to be the Instagram Explore page. On Facebook kind of comes up with a lot of different stuff, so it's a little bit harder to narrow down. But if you go to Instagram, you can at the bottom there's like a little explore icon that you can go to, and then you can type in as specific as wedding bands for men. You could look up engagement rings. You could look up marquee engagement rings. You can get as specific or non-specific as you want, but that's going to pull up the most interacted with posts that are like trending right now on Instagram. So it's going to bring you like the most relevant content that you can possibly find. And that way you can come up with, I mean, you can look for days on the Explore page. There's so many options out there. And Pinterest as well.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Um, so they expanded on the question. They said the themes specifically for of the holiday
Okay.
campaigns. Are there any major themes?
Sure. I could probably take that one. So I'm going
Yeah.
to break that down into two different kind of elements. One, the visual themes, and two, like the copy themes. Something that we're really seeing is light and airy. And that can be taken as a good thing or a bad thing. A lot of our clients really like that clean, light, airy look. We have a few traditional clients that still like the red and green type holiday feel. And it's really just a personal preference. I would say light and airy, subtle hints of holiday rather than like a Santa on the front of your catalog type of feel, where we're seeing just a couple like Christmas bulbs and then a beautiful diamond Riviera or whatever that might look like for you. That's definitely a theme that I'm seeing. And then content wise, we've really been focusing on kind of telling a story throughout our catalog. So not just putting items on a page, but integrating, okay, these are the owner's favorite picks, and this is the collection that he loves and why. We actually have one where it's a catalog that's laid out in the way that each one of his staff members get to pick their favorite pieces, and one of each page is dedicated to them and their favorite pieces and why. And then beyond that, they have collections of jewelry that are named after specific landmarks or people or whatever that might be. And that's the way that they're telling their Christmas story. And we found that that's pretty consistent. That's a trend that we're seeing as well. So people are kind of straying away from like the Macy's, Amazon, Target catalog feels where it's just product on a page and actually putting, like I said, personalization to it. Because personalization and making people feel connected to you is definitely a theme that we're trying to achieve on all channels. I
Awesome.
hope that
Thank you so
included.
much. Yeah, that was awesome. Okay, this last question. Um, another one just came in. I know we're already a little over time, but I think this is a great question. What would be your recommendations on holiday marketing for a jewelry brand that is an appointment-based showroom? They're not a street front, and for security purposes, they don't accept walk-ins. Additionally, for security purposes, they don't show their faces on social media.
Oh, gotcha. Um, so I guess so it's like more of a concierge type of jewelry setup. And have worked with a couple of different concierge jewelers. And really, and I know most people don't want to hear this, but a lot of what works is those personal phone calls because you're providing such a private service and such an intimate service. A lot of our concierge will just text back and forth with their clients. Hey, I saw this, or hey, I'm going to the show. Like, please let me know if there's anything you're thinking holidays. For those types of business models in specific, it's really important to start talking Christmas early, whatever holiday they may celebrate. Start talking about holidays early. On your own social media, though, what I would say is put your biggest pieces out there. If you're close to the storefront and you're pretty secure and you're feeling good about it, put your biggest pieces out there on social media because you never know who's looking for that. And a lot of people kind of shy away from having those wow pieces shown or having them in stock in their store. So that's going to set you apart. Because my guess is your clientele is a little bit more higher end than just an average jewelry store. So that would be my first recommendation. But yeah, phone calls first always.
As for content, I feel like you don't necessarily have to show faces. I just think that if you're whatever content you do put out there should be very high quality. It should be showing the like best sparkle that you possibly can. So finding good lighting and then showing the process is really interesting to people. You could even put like copy on a reel that says the customer asked for this and then here's what we delivered or here's how we got to this. So it's showing it's more of a process based type of content, and not only is that going to keep the user interested, but it's also showing them like your selection and what they can do. So you can still get a little educational with it.
Yeah.
Something that we've done in the past is having a designated influencer. I don't know if you're in that position or if you're in an area that has influencers, but if you're concerned about safety and keeping everything private, having a specific person that is your brand face that's not necessarily in the store every day, just showing off your jewelry in an organic way would be another great step to take.
Absolutely. And I know I personally have engaged with jewelers through social media that, like Bailey mentioned, highlight the process. There's one in particular that I can think of that focuses more on the customer and the pieces that they bring in. And they'll go through the process of resizing a ring that they inherited from their grandpa. And they don't show their face at all, but they do voiceover and they show the process of actually resizing or repairing this piece that means a lot to a customer. So, yeah, focusing on we call it the human touch doesn't necessarily have to have your face or you in it. There's still ways that you can absolutely do that. And then there's two other questions. I know we're over time, so these will be the last questions we answer. Um, how do you plan feed cohesiveness when you have many specific brands that have specific photos that they require? We have a lot of Rolex ADs, Tudor, a lot of those boutique companies that have very high standards and expectations. And in addition to that, do you have a specific light box camera or lighting, any specific equipment that you would recommend?
I
Yeah.
can take
Okay.
this.
Oh, what was that?
I can take the lighting if you want to take the feed question.
Okay, awesome. When it comes to feed cohesiveness, I don't know if it's as important as it once was. However, I still think that a good way to, if that is your interest, to keep feed cohesiveness is to make your photos high quality. And then you can also in Instagram or in Facebook, you can select your cover, and so you can actually upload a very high quality photo that you have. Maybe you made a reel showing your employees' faces. You can upload a cover so that it aligns with the rest of the type of content that you're putting out. And when it comes to branded content, a lot of the times I think that branded content is fine as long as you have a good balance of organic and branded. It's still good to showcase those pieces and it's not wasted content, but I think making sure that you have a good balance of both. And if you really want to prioritize feed cohesiveness, you can actually there are apps out there and websites that you can go to where you can they'll attach your Instagram feed. Maybe not as it's not as important on Facebook since you don't have an actual feed, but on Instagram at least you can connect your Instagram so it shows all your previous posts, and then you can kind of schedule out what your next posts are going to be, and it will show you exactly how that looks. And like we were talking about earlier, later the scheduling software that we use has a preview feature. So once you upload all your content, you can go to the preview feature, and then you can kind of see where your maybe ugly ducklings are that are kind of out of place, and you can replace those covers if you want. So that's what I would say for feed cohesiveness, especially.
Yeah, I think
Awesome.
another big thing to kind of match up to is fonts. So if you have
Yes.
branded content, try to match similar font styles, like something that people don't know that they're seeing, but they are, that makes things feel off, is like a sans serif versus a serif, or like a big cursive writing versus some blocks. So just look at your fonts as well. It's a little tweak that you can make that makes a big difference. The app I used to use in college when I was like posting a lot on my own personal social media was Plannable, so I could see my feed. But kind of what Bailey said, I don't know if the overall vibe of your feed is as important as it used to. I mean, still want to be presenting what's true to your store, but well, I
Yeah,
think
at the
we
end of the day, you want to be producing just high quality content in general.
Yeah.
um
Then the lighting question.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we have a lot. We have a lot of equipment, but the things that we've seen be tried and true is an ordery. We have a big ordery box that we capture most of our like really in depth where you can see every facet type videos and photos. That takes up a lot of space. So if you don't have a designated studio space or room in your store, that might not be for you. I know a lot of our stores have the gem light box, and I think if you have the gem light box, it's really important to have an updated phone as well. So we have a Buzz phone here, and what is it, a 15, Bailey?
Yeah. And the gem light box also is like mainly meant for social, whereas the ordery we use more for like website and branding and more website images. Whereas like the gem light box is for specific social content.
Yeah, and then for lighting, we use a brand called Lume Cube. And we bring that kind of everywhere. It's really compact and you can fold it up and you can travel with it. So that's our favorite go-to lighting. Obviously, in our studio, we have every type of lighting that you could imagine, but that's a really good middle ground for someone that's not taking photos every day.
And never
Awesome.
underestimate the power of natural sunlight. Whenever we're in a client store, like when we're gathering content, a lot of the times we're going up to the front window and that's where we're capturing content because that's where it's the clearest, it's the cleanest, and it's just beautiful. It's true to color.
Awesome.
Hopefully that
Yeah.
helped.
Thank you. Someone else said, I think the previous question may have been in regards to jewelry stores have a specific number of times that they have to share certain brands, and they are only allowed to share the photos that they're given. So it's not as easy to make it all cohesive, and they're not allowed to change the cover photos often. So I guess like how would they incorporate if they were just given a post from a specific brand? Do you recommend just having that be a part of their process and not worrying so much about tying those branded posts to their overall, posting strategy? Or is there a way to kind of blend them?
Yeah, the way, I mean, for certain brands, and it obviously it's brand dependent, but certain brands you can change the copy. And if you can change the copy, you can kind of change that voice a little bit more. So if you're using more of a friendly, personable tone on social, a more fun tone, you could change that copy. But what I was talking about with like selecting covers is whatever content the brand is sending you, you can try to create other high quality content. But unfortunately, with those brand posts, there's not much you can change about those specific posts. Those are just what you have to post, and that's okay. But I think as long as you're pairing that with a balance of organic content that you have as well, and when it comes to like feed cohesiveness, as long as your other content is kind of high quality, I think that's a good solution. But like we said, feed cohesiveness and like everything looking perfect on your feed is not near as important as it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago. What people want to see is more personable styled content that's tailored to them. So it's if you have to post those branded posts, it's okay. They're just probably not going to perform as well as your other posts. And that's something that you just kind of have to accept.
And I will say, just to leave you with a little tidbit, what I will say, a lot of those brands that do require you to post the specific image with a specific caption and all of that good stuff, those are usually high end brands that only a specific number of people can really achieve. Like if someone's looking for a Rolex, they're looking for a Rolex. So whether or not your content matches the feed might not sway their decision one way or the other. So just keep that in mind as well. And it will have lower engagement because that's not attainable for everybody. So not everybody's actually looking at those posts. So if you're getting lower engagement, it's okay. Just make sure that you're targeting it to the correct people. So if you
Right.
do boost or create campaigns on the back end of your social media, just make sure you're not casting it to a wide net. Make sure you're casting it to the type of people that will actually come in and buy it from the store. And that's like the compromise we find with most of our clients.
Awesome. Well, that is time. Thank you both so much for, again, sharing all of your valuable insights. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to listen in. I know that there was a lot of valuable information in this. Bri, Bailey, if any of the stores watching think that they might get more benefit out of working with you guys, where could they find you? What platforms? If they are wanting to go more in depth with you.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can.
we're both on LinkedIn if you want to find us on LinkedIn, but you can also shoot us an email. Our emails are pretty easy. It's just our names, our first name. So mine's Bailey at Buzz Ad Agency and Bree's is Bri at Buzz Ad Agency. But you can also contact us through our website if you want, but there are plenty of ways. Feel free to reach out with any questions that you guys have. We'd love to help in whatever way we can.
It will be at RJO both times. It will be at JCK too. We're usually wearing yellow. So if you want to come have a personal conversation, feel free.
Awesome. And if anyone would like to get in contact with them and you want to reach out to us, we can also connect you. I know that we work with a lot of you guys, obviously on a day-to-day, and so we have worked with Bri and Bailey as well, so we have their contact info. We'll be sure to include that in the follow-up email that will go out after with the recording of today's meeting for all of you to reference. And that way you can get in touch there. So thank you all again. We appreciate the time and hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks
Thanks.
so much, guys.
See ya.
See ya.